Adapted from archaic translation by W.H.D. Rhys. Jataka number 271. Udapāna-Dūsaka-Jātaka This, well, a forest hermit, etc. This story the master told while living at Udapāna, about a jackal that fouled a well. We learn that a jackal used to foul a well where the brethren used to pull water, and then used to make off. One clay the novices pelted him with lumps of earth, and made it uncomfortable for him. After that he never came to look at the place again. The brethren heard of this and began to discuss it in the hall of truth. Friend, the jackal that used to foul our well has never come near it since the novices chased him away with lumps of earth. The master came in, and asked what they were talking about now as they sat together. They told him. Then he replied, Brethren, this is not the first time that this jackal fouled a well. He did the same before. And then he told an old world tale. Once upon a time, in this place near Benares called Udapāna was that very well. At that time the bodhisattva was born of a good family. When he grew up he embraced the religious life, and with a body of followers lived at Udapāna. A certain jackal fouled the well as has been described, and took to his heels. One day, the ascetics surrounded him, and having caught him somehow, they led him before the bodhisattva. He addressed the jackal in the lines of the first stanza. This well a forest hermit has made who long has lived a hermit in the glade. And after all his trouble and his toil, why did you try, my friend, the well to spoil? On hearing this, the jackal repeated the second stanza. This is the law of all the jackal race, to foul when they have drunk in any place. My fathers and grandfathers always did the same. So there is no just reason for your blame. Then the bodhisattva replied with the third. If this is law in jackal world, I wonder what their lawlessness can be. I hope that I have seen the last of you, your actions, lawful and unlawful too. Thus the great being admonished him, and said, Do not go there again. From then he did not even pause to look at it. When the master had ended this discourse he explained the truths and identified the birth. The jackal that fouled the well is the same in both cases. And I was the chief of the ascetic band. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by W.H.D. Rhys. Jataka number 272. Vyaggha-Jātaka. What time the nearness, etc. This story the master told while living at Jataka monastery, about Khuddaka. The circumstances of this story will be given in the 13th book, and the Vyaggha-Jātaka. Here again Khuddaka said, I will take Sariputra and Moggallana with me. So having left Khuddaka's country, he travelled to Jataka monastery, greeted the master, and went on to the elders. He said, Friends, the citizens of Khuddaka's country summon you. Let us go there. Go yourself, friend, we won't, was the answer. After this refusal he went away by himself. The brethren got talking about this in the hall of truth. Friend. Khuddaka can't live either with Sariputra and Moggallana, or without them. He can't put up with their room or their company. The master came in, and inquired what they were all talking about together. They told him. He said, in olden days, just as now, Khuddaka couldn't live with Sariputra and Moggallana, or without them. And he told a story. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the bodhisattva was a tree spirit living in a wood. Not far from his dwelling lived another tree spirit, in a great monarch of the forest. In the same forest lived a lion and a tiger. For fear of them no one dared to till the earth, or cut down a tree, no one could even pause to look at it, and the lion and tiger used to kill and eat all manner of creatures. And what remained after eating, they left on the spot and departed, so that the forest was full of foul decaying stench. The other spirit, being foolish and knowing neither reason nor unreason, one day spoke to thus the bodhisattva. Good friend, the forest is full of foul stench all because of this lion and this tiger. I will drive them away. Said he, Good friend, it is just these two creatures that protect our homes. Once they are driven off, our homes will be made desolate. If men see not the lion and the tiger tracks, they will cut all the forest down, make it all one open space, and till the land. Please do not do this thing. And then he uttered the first two stanzas. What time the nearness of a bosom friend threatens your peace to end, if you are wise, guard your supremacy like the apple of your eye. But when your bosom friend does more increase the measure of your peace, let your friend's life and everything right through be dear as yours to you. When the bodhisattva had thus explained the matter, the foolish fairy notwithstanding did not lay it to heart, but one day assumed an awful shape, and drove away the lion and tiger. The people, no longer seeing the footmarks of these, predicted that the lion and tiger must have gone to another wood, and cut down one side of this wood. Then the fairy came up to the bodhisattva and said to him, Friend, I did not do as you said, but drove the creatures away. And now men have found out that they are gone, and they are cutting down the wood. What is to be done? The reply was, that they were gone to live in such and such a wood. The fairy must go and fetch them back. This the fairy did. And, standing in front of them, repeated the third stanza, with a respectful salute. Come back, O tigers! To the wood again, and let it not be levelled with the plain. For, without you, the axe will lay it low. You, without it, forever ascetic go. This request they refused, saying, Go away. We will not come. The fairy returned to the forest alone. And the men after a very few days cut down all the wood, made fields, and brought them under cultivation. When the Buddha had ended this discourse, he explained the truths and identified the birth. Kakalika was then the foolish fairy, Sariputra the lion, Moggallana the tiger, and the wise fairy was I myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by Whd. Rhys. Jataka number 273. Vyaggha-Jātaka. Why you are begging, etc. This story the master told during a stay in Jetavana monastery, how a quarrel was made up between two high officials of the king's court in Kosala. The circumstances have been told in the second book. Brahmadatta once reigned in Benares. Bodhisattva was born in a priest's family in the kingdom Kasi. Growing up he arrived in the Taxila city for studies. After completion of studies, with the sensuality suppressed, he lived alone as a hermit near the bank of the Ganges river in Himalayas region with a hut made from the branches of trees. With the practice of meditation he used to enjoy the bliss of trance states. So he dwelled in peace, self-absorbed, patiently. He used to sit in meditation for long times quietly. A naughty monkey used to visit that place and did its antics and used to create nuisance by shooting its discharge into ear of Bodhisattva. But Bodhisattva never lost his peace of mind and remained undisturbed. A tortoise used to come out of water there and used to sleep with mouth open in order to catch some sun. Once that impudent monkey tried to insert its genital into the mouth of the tortoise for pleasure. But then the tortoise snapped its mouth and caught hold of it tightly, and in pain monkey caught hold of the tortoise in its hands. The monkey was in so much pain that it felt as if its member was going to be sliced in half. The monkey pleaded tortoise to release it in order to be freed from pain, but without avail. The monkey held the shell of tortoise like a begging bowl. When Bodhisattva arrived there, the monkey asked him for help. Bodhisattva asked, "Why you are begging now?" Monkey said pleadingly, "I wanted to amuse myself, but that was wrong, I in my craziness did all that, save me please." So Bodhisattva addressed them. "O monkey, tortoise species is different one. Tortoise should copulate with tortoise. And monkey to copulate with monkey only, this is the nature's righteous way, follow the righteousness to keep harm away." By hearing these words tortoise was delighted. Tortoise released the monkey and monkey released the tortoise, and both went their ways. The monkey never disturbed anyone from then on. Later Bodhisattva, who after living his life as a hermit, at end passed away and was born in the realm of Brahma upper heaven. When this discourse was ended, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. The two high officials were the monkey and tortoise, and I was the hermit. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by Whd. Rhys. Jataka number 274. Lola Jataka. Who is this tufted crane, etc. This story the master told in Jetavana monastery about a greedy brother. He too was brought to the audience hall, when the master said it is not only now that he is greedy. Greedy he was before, and his greed lost him his life. And by his means wise men of old were driven out of house and home. Then he told a story. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, a rich merchant's cook of that town hung up a nest basket in the kitchen to win merit by it. The bodhisattva at that time was a pigeon. And he came and lived in it. Now a greedy crow as he flew over the kitchen was attracted by the fish which lay about in great variety. He fell in hungering after it. How in the world can I get some? Thought he. Then his eye fell upon the bodhisattva. I have it. Thinks he, I'll make this creature my cat's paw. And this is how he carried out his resolve. When the pigeon went out to seek his day's food, behind him, following, came the crow. What do you want with me, Mr. Crow? Says the pigeon. You and I don't feed alike. Ah, but I like you, says the crow. Let me be your humble servant, and feed with you. The pigeon agreed. But when they went feeding together, the crow only pretended to eat with him. Ever and soon he would turn back, peck to bits some lump of cow dung, and get a worm or two. When he had had his belly full, up he flies. Hello, Mr. Pigeon. What a time you take over your meal. You never know where to draw the line. Come, let's be going back before it is too late. And so they did. When they got back together, the cook, seeing that their pigeon had brought a friend, hung up another basket. In this way things went on for 4 or 5 days. Then a great purchase of fish came to the rich man's kitchen. How the crow longed for some! There he lay, from early morn, groaning and making a great noise. In the morning, says the pigeon to the crow. Come along, old fellow, break fast. You can go, says he, I have such a fit of indigestion. A crow with indigestion? Nonsense! Says the pigeon. Even a lamp wick hardly stays any time in your stomach. And anything else you digest in a little time, as soon as you eat it. Now you do what I tell you. Don't behave in this way just for seeing a little fish. Why, sir, what are you saying? I tell you I have a bad pain inside. All right, says the pigeon. Only do take care. And away he flew. The cook got all the dishes ready, and then stood at the kitchen door, mopping the sweat off him. Now's my time, thinks Mr. Crow, and descends on a dish with some elegant food in it. Click! The cook heard the noise, and looked round. Ah! In a twinkling he caught the crow, and plucked off all his feathers, except one tuft on the top of his head. Then he powdered ginger and cinnamon, and mixed it up with buttermilk, and rubbed it in well all over the bird's body. That's for spoiling my master's dinner, and making me throw it away, said he, and throw him into his basket. Oh, how it hurt! In due course of time, in came the pigeon from his hunt. The first thing he saw was our crow, making a great fuss. What fun he did make of him, to be sure! He dropped into poetry, as follows. Who is this tufted crane I see where she has no right to be? Come out! My friend the crow is near, who will do you harm, I fear. To this the crow answered with another verse. No tufted crane am I, no, no. Nothing but a greedy crow. I would not do as I was told, so I'm plucked, as you see. And the pigeon replied with a third. You'll come to grief again, I know it is your nature to do so. If people make a dish of meat, it is not for little birds to cat. Then the pigeon flew away, saying I can't live with this creature. And the crow lay there groaning until he died. When the master had ended this discourse, he explained the truths and identified the birth. At the conclusion of the truths the greedy brother reached the fruit of the third path. The greedy brother in those days was the greedy crow, and I was the pigeon.